I used to have a pet squirrel, a fox squirrel, a very cool little critter, loving, funny. Love my pet squirrel. I miss him still. He died naturally, unlike Peanut and Fred the raccoon. What them scumbags from the government did, very uncalled for. Very uncalled for. As Orwell said in his last interview, a boot to the head that's never ended from the government. Travesty. There's no harm there, no danger. Very sad story. Got a funny story from my past that ended in no choice. From old Ray. Old Ray, he a mountain man. Amazing man, do any fucking thing. Didn't matter what it was. Some things he didn't care to do, but he did anyway just to keep from paying someone else to do it. He was a drinking man. And like so many that come before me and after me, well, made a lot of their own. Different things. Old Ray had a tragic life. Due to women. I'll get more in that later on. Well, I can figure out how to word it to keep YouTube happy. If that's possible. For our philosophy. Anyway, I come up to his house and he's sitting out on his porch one day. And I was real tiny, malnourished, had very little to eat. And he said, "Wormy," because 5'11", weighed 110 pounds, but that's better than a certain bitch nowadays. A lot of drugs, a lot of booze, and just didn't care about eating back then on my part. But he said, "Hey, Wormy, what are you doing?" I walked up. I was like, "Well, what the hell's beside of you?" Because he looked like a big box with tarp over it, canvas tarp. The blue, shitty tarps was just getting started back then. He just laughed. He said, "Well, I got me a pet. I'm going to train." I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." He said, "I caught him in a live trap." Or gum. Live trap is today's speak. He caught him in a rabbit gum. And a bigger one. I was like, "Well, what'd you get?" And he said, "Well, come on up here." I get up on the porch. He raised it up. This big adult and male raccoon was in this cage. and just I don't know if you've ever been around raccoons, but they're motherfucking vicious. They make good pets. I've known many, many, many through the years had pet raccoon, but they got them as a little baby and raised them, and they would tolerate others, but not much. And they've got one human they love and one human they're loyal to. And I looked at him and seen that big old cock and balls. I was like, man, no. No, you need to let that thing go up in the woods. You ain't gonna tame him. There ain't no taming him. He's a big old adult male, and you're gonna have trouble out there. He's like, I'm I'm a human, and I'm smarter, and I'm bigger, and I'm better. And I was like, no, you just don't understand. And he's like, you don't know what you're talking about. I was like, all right, Ray. Yeah. I calm him down, and we proceeded to drink and smoke, because he grew his own too, even though it was illegal back then. Oh, God almighty, this is funny, but it ain't. I mean, it is. It's his own stupidity. Wouldn't listen, but you got to understand, a raccoon is vicious. I've had to kill a couple of them. Not because they're rabid, just because they're territorial. And if you get them when they're young, you can imprint on them. But if you get them as adults, even females, it's not going to work out for you. Well, anyway, I seen him a week and a half later, however long it was. And I was like, well, how's that training? How's that training going for you? With that coon. And he said, I don't want to talk about it. I'm like, well, why not? Could you train that critter or not? He's like, no, couldn't. I was like, well, what do you mean? He's like, that damn raccoon's vicious. I was like, well, I tried to tell you, he's adult male. He's like, no. After I understood that I couldn't even feed him, I took him up in the woods and let him loose. And some bitch, he chased me all the way back to my house. Barely got in the door. And he was growling and hissing and clawing on the damn door trying to get in to get me. And then it stopped and everything. Now I waited a little bit thinking he went off. And he's like, I come out the door and boom. He come around the corner where I couldn't see and tried to get me again. Yeah, I managed to kick him off the porch. Figured that'd do it. Didn't hear nothing. And he's like, I was going out to work next morning. Didn't poke my head out the door, looked and everything, didn't see anything. I got off the porch. Raccoons very intelligent too. Or smart. He's like, I didn't see nothing. I got off the porch, got about 3 steps. He come out from the corner of the porch, run me back inside. He's like, I barely got the door shut. He's like, I finally threw a firecracker out there and made it to my vehicle and went to work. He's like, surely that firecracker run him off. He said he pulled up his driveway after work, looked everywhere, didn't see this coon nowhere. He's like, oh, okay. He got out of his vehicle, started to walk towards the house, and this raccoon come running out the damn woods, chasing him. Run his ass right back in the house. Just he said he was saliva, had saliva, not foam, rabies or nothing. Just he was pissed. Ray got inside and everything. Sit there for a while, threw out some more firecrackers. And when I say firecrackers, they was like big old firecrackers that would take your hand off and shit. And kept on throwing them out for an hour or two, figuring that would run this raccoon off. Said in the morning and everything, he come out, poked his head out and everything. Didn't see the raccoon. He eased off the porch, no raccoon. Got up to the corner, no raccoon. About the time he got to his vehicle, a raccoon come out from under it, running back in the house. Now, this man didn't have no choice in this. Didn't take pleasure in it, I could tell, because he didn't want to talk about it, and he was embarrassed that he didn't listen to me, because I was, 19, 20 years old at the time, and he's pushing 50. And he knew they had to put it down, so he grabbed his gun and did. But they hold a grudge. And a coon pissed is like a woman scorned. They're not going to give up. But it's a funny story to me because, the old geezer, now I'm the old geezer, just didn't listen. Somebody that knew, because I know a lot of people had raccoons for critters in my day, before then and after then. Well, Peanut and Fred, the government assassinated you and shit on these people's happiness of a non-profit animal sanctuary, and they supposedly care about animals. They don't. They just want to bring misery. That's all government is good for, bring your misery to you. This is the moral of the story of all this. Good men, brothers, be well. And here in America, in the concrete jungles, day after tomorrow, be very, very vigilant. And if you don't have to get out and about, don't.